Welcome back to Tony's Board Life. So today I have a little something different. I was going through my collection, did some organization, moving things around, and I came across the fact that I have not done an unboxing of a series that I really enjoy. It's still in the shrink, so I thought I would go ahead and do that. And today we are going to unbox Rhode Island, Battles of the American Revolution, Volume 9. August 29th, 1778. Bonus got Newport in there, which is another game on another section. But yeah, so we've got Newport in there as well. Game designed, Mark Michaelis, GMT 2020 game. So let's flip it over here. It might have ended the years 5 years sooner. The loss to the British Army at Saratoga in 1777 was predictable to French intervention, was predicate to French intervention, universally agreed to be the turning point of the American Revolution. Now, 1 year later, what if the Second British Army had been forced to surrender? The Rhode Island campaign is significant because it was the first attempt by the French to cooperate with their new American allies. The size of the combined armies approached 16,000 men or more, than double the forces available in the British garrison at Newport. Each side had a wide variety of artillery, from light field guns to 24-pound naval guns brought ashore by the British for the defense of the town. Total ordnance on the field exceeded 112 pieces, a staggering sum for the period. We will never know what might have been, because circumstances conspired to prevent the grand assault by the Allies from occurring. There was, of course, a Battle of Rhode Island, as history has recorded. It was running fight in the open stages of the British pursuit sought to overrun a withdrawing American rear guard. It ended up in a stalemate late in the day as both sides glowered at each other over no man's land. There were heroics that day, but history has relegated that Battle of Rhode Island to a footnote because of what occurred involved only a portion of the forces, and only after the Americans had decided to lift the siege of Newport and withdraw to the safety of the mainland. Although the great what if remains elusive, players now have the chance to model the likelihood of an outcome, because Volume 9 in the Battles of American Revolution series offers two games: the historical Battle of Rhode Island and the great assault by the entire Franco-American force against the well-entrenched British defenders of Newport. All right, so that's pretty cool. You've got a couple different things with this. That's really, really cool. Usual stuff. Mark Michaelis is the game developer. Rob McCracken, or game designer. Rob McCracken is the developer. Reacher and assistants is Rob Doan and Frederick Albray. Art director McGowan. Map art Charlie Kibler, which I see his stuff out a lot now. Counters McGowan and Lemick. Then the usual GMT crew. Has a complexity of 6 and a solitaire suitability of 4. I find that's not as bad as what it comes out to. So let's go ahead and get the shrink wrap off and go from there. Now the shrink wrap's now off. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got in the box. This is a tough box to get off. And you can tell I just took the shrink off because it is hard to get the box off. But very beautiful box, by the way. Absolutely love the artwork on it. Really, really nice. So, good solid box. Okay, so Battles of Newport, the exclusive rulebook. We have Rhode Island and Newport. And copies of the counter sheets, from what it says here. Counter sheet notes. Okay, so there's a note about the different counter sheets. Go ahead here. So we have Rhode Island, how to win. The British controls Butts Hill Fort at the end of the game turn, of any game turn. The Americans, as soon as the American player eliminates or captures 16 SPs of British, Hessian, or Loyalist combats. Well, there we go. We have different types of victories. Newport, how to win. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Interesting. Gun spiking. Ooh, that's interesting. Special units. And then the design notes, history of Rhode Island and Newport, the battle. And we have the order, the OOB for the Battle of Rhode Island here. So, pretty cool. So, that's the exclusive rules. And then let's take a look at... So, here's what's nice. So, these are the series rule. Back pages, extended sequence of play. You have metrics here, close combat. So, you really only have 14 pages of rules. And as you can see, they're quite, decent size, standard GMT books and things like that. So it's not a big deal on that one. The tactics cards, there are tactics for the solo, how to use the tactics card for the solos. You roll a couple dice and that predicts which one. So you choose which side, that type of thing. So zone of controls, initiative. I know I went through that backwards, but them's the rules. What else we got here? We have 2 player aid cards. So matrix. So if the defender has this, the attacker of this, you look at this, and that's die roll modifier. Combat's odd taste ratio. Then you have your terrain effects chart, which is pretty cool. Victory point schedules, things like that, morale checks. And then the fire damage table, mortar damage effects, things like that. And you do get 2 of those. So now I have the maps here. We'll do those last. So counters. So this is kind of cool. So we have a half sheet of counters. Battle of Rhode Island. The one thing I do like about this system is it is quite counter friendly. There's not a whole lot of them, but if you look, come on, focus. If you look, they are very, very nice counters. We have Wigglesworth, very, very beautiful counters. I love these counters. So this is strictly for the Battle of Rhode Island. There we go. So we have the Battle of Rhode Island, and then the Battle of Newport. A few more counters here, as well as a couple of errata counters. I have Pensacola, I have Savannah, I have Germantown, and I have Brandywine, I think. So I'll have to make sure that those go where they need to go, which counters they need to go into. But that's pretty cool. Again, counters are really, really nice. You can see how nice, again, the counters are really, really cool. I've always liked the counters. They do a really good job. So one thing that's really interesting is that you get 2 maps. So you get the hard mounted map in the typical GMT bag, but you also get the paper map. So they're exactly the same. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lay out these maps, and we can take a closer look at them. So we'll be back in a moment. We have the Battle of Newport, and we have this is the hard mounted map. Now, if we pull out the folded map, the paper map, it's the exact same map. Nothing's changed. Nothing's any different. So there's the hard mounted map, and you can see, and then here is the paper map. So whichever one you feel like playing with, you're more than welcome to. It works out really well. And these maps are really good. So let's go ahead. Let's zoom in just kind of on the center here. I do love these maps. They are absolutely awesome. So we have our readouts. We have orchards. We have Tamanini Hill, Little Tamanini Hill. And I mean, it's really cool. You get all the way to the point where you can have these, you see the little farms there. I just really like the maps in this series. They do a great job in these series. There we go. So again, we have our paper maps, which I moved aside, but then we also have the hard mounted maps. Now, what I like about the hard mounted maps is, one, you don't get that glare and that reflection that you do when you have. So this is the Newport. Now, what we do is we flip it over. I'm trying to do this one without damaging it. And we will have the Battle of Rhode Island on this side right here. So then we have the Battle of Rhode Island. So you can have that. So you can use either maps. You can use the paper maps, or you can use the hard mounted maps. Again, as I'm recording, I really like the hard mounted maps because they don't have that glare. But so if we look at, so that's the hard mounted maps. Now if I put these on here, you can kind of see you got the glare and stuff. So I really do like the hard mounted maps, especially when it's a solid. I've actually ordered a few other hard mounted maps that they offer for other games, such as like Washington's War and stuff like that. But you can see how much nicer for videoing the hard mounted maps are. But they give you the option, which is really cool. I wish this. I don't know how expensive, or if it's too much more expensive, but I really do think that it would be really neat to have both options in many of the games, especially if they're only one mappers like this. To have the hard mounted maps, I'd pay extra for them. Pay a little bit more. I'd pay more for both, so it works out pretty well. So, okay, so there's the maps. A few last things that we've got here. Of course, we have the insert, which is really cool. But we have the tactics cards here, and a couple of different things. A couple different cards for both sides, which is cool. You have the British and the Americans, or the Continentals at that time. And then 2 D10. I have more D10s than I can count. I do like the D10s on series, which is pretty cool. So there we go. So we've got the cards. We have both sets of maps, both maps. So front and back paper and non-paper, hard mounted. Then we have our nice counters. Again, beautifully produced counters. We have our 2 rules. So you have the series rule and then the exclusive rules. And then finally, you have your 2-player aid cards. So that's what you get in the Battle of Rhode Island, August 29th, 1778, in this box. It looks interesting. Go out and grab it. I do know there's another 3-pack, another tri-pack for the older games that's coming out, but also White Plains. I think it's White Plains is coming out. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll talk to you later. Have a great day.